Pet Pals TV with the best of shows, some of the stories that you really, really liked. We'll take a look at a heartbreaking yet hopeful story about a dog who's healing a young wife. Also, Talking Dogo. What is that all about? It's dog talk. And then we've got naked cats. So stay with us on Pet Pals TV.
Give a little love, give a little more this time. Give a little love, if you give everything will be fine. Give a little love, it'll come back if you just try. It'll feel right. Give a little love.
Pet Pals TV, we thank you for joining us on this very nice day. Yes, we're all feeling good here. And as we all know, life is full of joys and sorrows. In this case, it has to do with a young wife who lost her husband, and they decided, though, whoop, whoop, that they really, really wanted a dog just before he passed away. And she decided this dog was going to help her heal. Adam Dunn has this emotional story. Here it is.
Hi, Patty. This is a story of a dog and a woman whose hearts are both broken, and together they will mend their heartbreak of their lost loved one.
We were laying in bed one night and Paul was looking on his phone at Pet Finder, and he had found another dog, and so I said, since when are we looking for a dog? And he was like, I'm just looking. Paul was gonna have back surgery and he wanted to go ahead and get his dog, and it was gonna kind of help him recover from his surgery.
After looking at dogs, they found Baron the pit bull, but before he could come into their lives, they would have to wait until after Christmas. So they would have to wait until shortly after Paul's surgery. Post-operation seemed to be going well until one day.
I was walking him from the bed to the couch, and he started, I could see it on his face that something was wrong, and then he said, everything's going black.
Paul was rushed to the hospital. Sadly, Paul passed away from the complications of his back surgery, leaving Katie and her family broken. Katie, knowing Paul's wishes to get Baron, her and her mother took steps towards adopting him.
She said to me, out of the blue, she said, Mom, she said, I have to get Baron. And I understood that. I heard her loud and clear, and so without hesitation, I contacted Nancy and told her that we had to have Baron.
When I got that text that Paul had passed away and Katie has to have Baron, I was like, there's no doubt in my mind, that's where Baron's supposed to be.
I loved him from the moment I saw him too, so it just wasn't an option not to get him. And Nancy had told us that, he was heartworm positive, and I thought, of course he is. Let's just add that to everything else.
Before Katie even knew Baron, he was a protector. Living in Chicago, he was found by a service worker watching over 3 puppies. Nancy at the Four-Legged Ranch was called, and her volunteer pilot rescued them.
What a special dog he is. He protected those 3 puppies as if they were his own, and they weren't. They weren't his breed at all, but he watched after him, just like he's going to watch after Katie.
Baron, coming into Katie's life to be her protector during this time of grief, will help her cope with the loss of Paul one step at a time.
We didn't see this coming with Paul. And I know that Paul didn't know it either. But Paul didn't realize it, but he chose Baron for a reason. I've seen Baron go up alongside of her in the bed, and she was crying. He would just gently worm his way right up to her and kiss her. I just can't really say enough how wonderful everyone has been to us. the support that we've had by our friends or family and people we don't even know, like Nancy. When I texted her about Katie wanting Baron, she immediately said something about he will help her heal her heart.
God knew, and through Paul's eyes, he picked my protector.
Together with family, friends, and companions, Paul's memory will not be forgotten. And with Baron, Katie will never forget the love they once shared. For Pet Pals TV, I'm Adam Dunn.
Stewie likes kitty cats more than Mabel does. In any case, we love showing you all the different kinds of kitties out there. This is a naked cat called a Sphynx. Joy Hernandez will show us more.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How would you not love him?
Kitty cats come in all shapes and sizes, don't they? You love your kitty cat inside? You do? You love your kitty cats outside. He just loves kitty cats. Joy Hernandez takes a look at a naked cat, and I do believe these are called Sphynx. Joy?
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of what? Say hello to the Sphynx. Blake and Danny share their home with Loki and Scout, male and female Sphynxes, a type of hairless cat. Some will have a soft down, but some will have no hair at all, including whiskers.
I think that kind of affects their balance. So we find that they tend to be just a little more clumsy than a normal cat. Not that they're falling over all the time, but they do fall off things.
Clumsiness aside, these naked cats really are just cats.
They, like all cats, like sunbeams. We've not ever had a problem with them getting sunburned, but yeah, you have to be more attentive to skin issues. The biggest thing is that they just get dirty. The skin has, a little bit of oil to it, and they just can't keep themselves. They lick and clean themselves just like any cat would, but they can't keep up with it.
There are clues as to what they'd look like if they had fur. Scout would be a tortie, while Loki would wear a tuxedo.
See, his little paws are white, and the rest of him's gray with the cutout on his shirt. It's one of those quirky things you don't necessarily think about what color a cat's skin is. You just know what color their fur is, but the fur is dictated by the pigment of the skin underneath.
Blake has had fuzzy cats in the past, and has had 2 other Sphynx cats before Loki and Scout.
But because of the experience with hairy cats and the hairballs and the allergies and the fur and things like that, we were just drawn to this breed because they typically are more hypoallergenic. They don't have very much dander. They have a little, but not very much dander.
But their first Sphynx cat, Singe, wasn't quite how they thought she would be.
She assured us that all that hair on her would fall out, that that's the way it works with kittens. Of course, it was not true, so she had patches of hair And so we named her Singe because she looked like she'd been in a fire. And we loved her, and she lived to be 13, and she was a great little cat.
Blake strongly encourages doing your homework on the breed and the breeders. But no matter what, he and Danny love their Sphynx cats. They're little snuggle buddies.
Because they're hairless, they do get colder, I think, more easily. Their temperature runs a little bit higher than I think a traditional cat. But they're very affectionate, partially I think because they like your body heat.
Joy Hernandez for Pet Pals TV.
It's Pet Pals TV with your pets, so we hope you join us. Stay right there.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
I remember when I was a kid, I had a couple of turtles as pets. We had to let them go because they were getting some kind of fungus. It turns out now we should have had better water for them. It's a better way to keep a turtle as a pet. Adam Dunn meant somebody who really knows how to take care of a turtle. In this case, it's not really a turtle, it's a tortoise. And it lives part of the year in the refrigerator. Adam?
Are dogs and cats not your thing? Well, maybe a turtle can break you out of your shell. Boris, the Russian tortoise, is just one of the pets Tyler Scheller has running wild around his house. Or as he calls it, the zoo. Many people have pet tortoises or turtles because they're fairly stress-free pets.
They're fairly simple to take care of on the pet scale. You know, they require much less attention than like a cat or a dog or even a bird. However, they can be more of a commitment in the long haul because his breed, Russian tortoise, can live to be in their 50s.
Certain breeds of tortoises can be a ball of energy all year round, but some need their beauty rest. This particular guy has his own hibernation ritual.
From about October through early spring, he goes into the mini refrigerator that we have so that he can hibernate. And he stays in there and he goes into a sleep, and we slowly drop down the temperature from about 60 degrees down to the 40s. And he will just go to sleep in there and he'll stay lights out until we turn the temperature back up, and he will start to come awake, and we'll bring him out one day and he'll just run wild.
Domesticated tortoises don't need to be hibernated, but you can tell when they need a couple months rest.
In the fall, he starts to really slow down and he'll stop eating, and basically he just kind of shuts down. And by going into hibernation, it helps him kind of reset his internal clock. And when he comes out of it, he has much more energy, his appetite is much more ravenous, and he just starts doing loops in his container. The refrigerator was something that came along later. He had been around for several years and was something that we knew that was potentially possible to hibernate him, but we're kind of afraid to do it because that's a big big change. You know, you put him in this refrigerator and it's like, am I gonna hurt him? Is he gonna come back out of this okay? So the first year that he went into hibernation, I know was really kind of a mystery, but then he came through just fine. And you know, it's something that we do every year, and we see a big benefit. He really tells us, like, we keep an eye on him to know when he needs to go into hibernation.
But it's not only a refrigerator nap that this tortoise needs when he starts to shut down.
It could be a couple of things. It could be that he needs to have a less stressful environment. If they're stressed out, they're less likely to eat. He might just stay put in one place and not move around as much, because they can be fairly active.
And just like any pet, make sure you do your research. As in the story of Tortoise and the Hare, slow and steady wins the race. For Pet Pals TV, I'm Adam Dunn.
A dog trainer who can train special dogs to do special things. Her name is Julie Case, and she is amazing. Stay tuned.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Training dogs, it's a big deal, and it's very important so that we can live in harmony with our canines. We have, Mike Underwood is our trainer of your personal dog for Pet Pals TV from Camp Bow Wow. And I also know a young lady, her name is Julie Case, and she can train dogs to be service dogs, therapy dogs, emotional support dogs, all kinds. She even can train cats, she says. Anyway, I've known Julie for a long time, and she is a very, very special trainer. You're about to meet the ultimate canine trainer. Julie Case can train a police dog to sniff out narcotics and serve as an intense patrol dog. She can train a service dog to help people and children with disabilities. And she can train a therapy dog to be an official ambassador to the Ronald McDonald Houses to comfort those who are worried or stressed. She can also certify a pet to be a therapy dog, like she did for my Louie some years ago. Let's go back a little bit, and you helped me with my Louie. You certified him as a therapy dog. It was 2010, some years ago.
Years ago, yes.
Yeah.
Many years ago.
It was a good boy.
We miss him.
Yes, we do miss him. Now, let's look where you are now. Let's jump forward. You have your own training facility. How did this come about?
Well, I always wanted to train dogs with a little bit more purpose, service dogs, police dogs. And, you know, we still do obedience, but, you know, it was my passion to do, you know, dogs for kids with disabilities, therapy dogs and service dogs and police, military dogs. So it kind of took me there, and life kind of led me there. And then so here we are. Now I have this baby of mine, this business, and we do everything that I just mentioned.
Everything
training.
you mentioned.
Yeah.
I think what is so appealing about your story, other than the fact that you're so successful now and they're doing what you love, and you said if you do what you love, right, you're not working a day in your life.
You never work another day.
You never work another day. But what's interesting is some people train a dog to be, and that's a wonderful thing, to train it to be a patrol dog or a therapy dog or a dog that helps someone with a disability, and you do everything.
We do it all, yes. We kind of specialize in specialized dogs. we also train family pets, don't get me wrong. We do, we train puppies and just regular family dogs, but we definitely, our specialty is specialty dogs.
Wow. What's your key? What's the key to your success? How do you tap into the dog's mind?
I just love what I do. I mean, you have to really, really be passionate about it, and you have to have that love for dogs and just seeing them succeed. We select very specific temperaments. We've studied so many different tests and puppies and how they grow up and what happens. So now we have our own selection test. Good girl, Charlie. Good girl.
In all cases, Julie looks for a dog that has a confident personality. For the human, the key is consistency.
So when people ask me, how do you teach a dog to sit, I'll ask them first, which dog? It depends on the dog. Some dog may, we use motivation as part of the training. Most of our training is done through motivation, but if it's a police dog, their motivation is a tennis ball. We're looking for a dog crazily obsessed about a toy. If it's a service dog, we look for a dog that's very motivated by food or praise or love. So every dog is differently taught here.
Yeah. What about breeds? And the breeds are different too?
The breeds are a little bit different, and we have to use some non-shedding types of or hypoallergenic types of dogs for kids with disabilities with compromised immune system. But as you can see here, we have a collection of different types of dogs. We have a Labrador who came from a shelter. We have some Lab Poodle mixes. We call them Australian Labradoodles. We have a German Shepherd that's imported from Europe. So we use anything and everything. But we specialize in, say, there are 3 breeds or 4 breeds that we use commonly for police, and then there are a handful of breeds that we use for service, just because they have the good traits. We bred them for companionship and stuff.
So they have different personalities, but the breeds also have something too. Like the dog she trains, Julie has a high drive too, and always has had her goal in sight. When you were a little girl, did you know you'd be doing this?
Yes.
Yes?
I was absolutely 100% sure I was going to be a dog trainer.
Julie has a worldview herself. When did you come to the United States?
That was 2001, so
2001?
that's 15 years ago.
15 years. Now you're married?
I'm married, I have a husband, and
you're married and you have a husband. That's a good thing.
I'm married to my husband, and I'm American citizen. I'm an American citizen. I became an American citizen in 2008, I want to say, and my husband and I got married 2 years ago.
Oh, so, that's wonderful.
He's also a business owner, and so we both kind of have a very busy lifestyle, but we both love what we do.
Is your husband trained?
We're working on it. He's housebroken. That's where we are right now. We're working on it, but I don't know if I will be able to fully train him as good as these guys.
Treats. I think treats.
Treats, yeah. Anything that wants to eat can be trained. This takes longer sometimes with humans.
So thank you. Sit, stay, and we'll have more coming back up on Pet Pals TV. Sit, stay.
Me and my boy Matt had it good. He had catnip that was off the hook. But one day, he brings a girl home, and she's allergic to cats. Every sneeze was a nail in my coffin. Now I'm in a shelter. It's decent, but they don't even have Wi-Fi.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
I adopted Bento in 2010 from a shelter. As it turns out, we have very similar personalities. And this cat makes me make art because he's always motivating me to take pictures of him, to draw pictures of him. He just is motivating artistically. It's just that simple. Well, he's my best friend, but a lot of people know him as Keyboard Cat.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Yes, we're talking to you. Do you talk to your dog? You do? I guess I do too. Okay, we all talk to our dogs. Maybe they even have a special language. Do we need to keep our ears up for that one? Joy Hernandez.
We all know that cats can't spell and have had their own internet language for years. Now there's a new internet language for man's best friend, doggo. Doggo is, well, the language of doggos. There are all types of doggos. Young ones are puppers, small ones are pupperinos. Some breeds get called out as shibs, corgos, and clouds. Some doggos are floofs, some are long boys, but all types of doggos are friends or friendos. When doggos have something to say, they bork. If they bork too much or too loudly, they can do their friends a frighten or do a heckin' concern. That's right, doggos, of course, don't use swear words. They only use heck or heckin'. Think about it, it kind of fits, right? If a doggo is in a disguise or acting sneaky, they're doing a bamboozle. Why might a doggo act sneaky? For schmackos, of course. Anything for schmackos. Sometimes when your best friendo is looking at you with that big cute nose, you have no choice but to boop that snoot. And when they stick out their tongue in a goofy way, that's a blep, a blem, or a mlem. Doggos, puppers, pupperinos, woofers, long boys, old boys, even shell boys, noodle boys, and kidders. If you rate them on a scale of 10, they're always 12 out of 10, 13 out of 10, or 14 out of 10, because all are good boys or good girls. Very, very, very good boys. Joy Hernandez for Pet Pals TV.
Okay, the gang's all here, and it's time to say goodbye. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you turn in again. We hope that you have a good day. Okay? Pet Pals TV, we'll see you next time. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye.
I'll give a little more this time.